Hello and welcome back to another insightful episode of Immigration Fridays. I'm your host Prashanthi Reddy, and today we're exploring a topic that often sparks questions and hopes. That is sponsorship for your sibling for a visa to the United States in 2025. Now let's be clear from the onset. When we discuss siblings, bringing siblings to the US, we're talking about the F4 visa category. This is a family preference visa, and it's crucial to understand that there is a numerical limit set by Congress every year for this particular category. This is unlike immediate relatives where there's no limit. Because of the limit, it causes significant delays because the demand for this green card far exceeds the available visa numbers. But however, if you're patient and if you follow all the right processes, it is possible to get for your sibling to get a green card. Who can be a sponsor for this kind of visa? In order to be a sponsor, you have to be a US citizen, you have to be over 21 years of age, you have to show proof of relationship, that is, you can only sponsor a sibling who is a biological sibling, adopted sibling, or a half sibling, and the documentation for each category is different. You have to have the financial capability of sponsoring them. That means your salary should be above 125% of the federal poverty guideline, and you have to submit 1040s, W2s, 1099s to and employment verification letters to show that you have that kind of income. If you don't, you can also show your assets. You can also use another member of your family and include their income as well. And if all else fails, then you can also provide a joint sponsor, another person who also fills out an affidavit of support who has that kind of an income. Remember, this financial commitment is serious and legally enforceable. Make sure you know that it's not a formality when you're filling out the I-864, the affidavit of support. Now let's turn our attention to the beneficiary. What are the eligible criteria for a beneficiary to get a green card? Of course, you have to prove that there's a relationship with proper documentation, but even if you have that relationship, there may be certain factors that will make you inadmissible. Number one is the health-related grounds. If you have some kind of serious communicable disease, mental or physical disorder associated with harmful behavior, if you are abuse drugs or you're addicted to drugs, then you may be ineligible. You have to provide a medical exam to ensure that none of this is true. If you have a criminal record, a history of certain criminal offenses, that can make you inadmissible as well. This often requires a police certificate clearance from your country of residence, and if you're in the US, they will do a background check. Security grounds, involvement in any kind of terrorist activities or espionage can also make you inadmissible. Public charge. As discussed earlier, even though the sponsor submits an affidavit of support to show that you will not be a public charge, there may be other reasons why you can be considered to be a public charge, meaning that if you've previously made use or been a burden to the US welfare system, if you've taken supplemental income called SSI, or if you have been admitted into a long-term care facility under the expense of the US government, then that could be also make you ineligible. If you've had previous immigration violations, so previous overstays, unlawful presence, misrepresentation to an immigration official, immigration fraud, these can also be barriers to getting your green card. So this process, as you can see, can be lengthy, but it's an excellent opportunity for your siblings to be able to immigrate to the US. They'll receive their green card upon arrival, as long as they meet all the admissibility requirements. As I was saying, this process can be lengthy, and let's go into the process itself. The first step is to file the I-130 petition. You can file this, you have to file this with USCIS. It can be done online, and you can do a paper-based filing as well. This I-130 filing shows that you qualify relationship-wise, etc. Once you file the I-130, you will receive a receipt, and in that, it's important to note that there will be a priority date. That priority date has to be used to check the visa bulletin every month to see if your priority date has been reached or not. Once it's been filed, within about 4 to 6 months, you will get an approval, and then you have to wait for your priority date to become available. As I was saying, there are a limited number of green cards issued, and therefore there's a backlog, and therefore it's important to go to the visa bulletin, go to travel.gov in order to, or just search visa bulletin in Google, and you'll be able to find the visa bulletin and look at the final action dates for F4 visa categories. Once your date is reached, then you go to the next step. The next step depends on whether you're in the country or outside the country. If you're outside the country, the next step would be that you would get an email from the National Visa Center. You'll have to fill up the DS-260, the affidavit of support, provide civil documents, and pay the fee. And then the step after that is the consulate will call you for an interview, and they will issue you an immigrant visa petition. You will, an immigrant visa, you will use that visa to come into the US. They'll process you at the port of entry, and you will get the green card in the mail. However, if you are in the US, then you can file for adjustment of status, provided you are in valid other non-immigrant status, such as an F1 or a H1 or some other status. As long as it's valid, you can file for adjustment of status. And at the end of the adjustment of status, once you file the 485, once the 485 is approved, you will get again a green card in the mail. Let's now go through a few tips to make sure that you have a successful I-130 approval. Meticulous documentation is key, from birth certificates to marriage records, tax returns, police clearance. Ensure that everything is done properly and is done, and you have a correctly translated copy if it's not in English. Continuously monitor your visa bulletin, as I said earlier. Financial planning is important. I know your income will fluctuate over the period of time. Make sure that you understand what the financial requirements are and able to meet them. Proactively communicate with your family member to ensure that they tell you about any changes that happen over the period of time. Look into CSPA, aging out. If you have children who are dependents and you're filing a green card for them as well, as derivative family members, remember that if they turn 21 and you have not yet filed for adjustment, then they may not get a green card unless the CSPA, Child Status Protection Act, helps them. So go into that to see what that criteria is. You can go into CSPA and look into it further. This is a way where even if the child turns 21, you might still be able to file a green card for them. Make sure your information is current, because over the period of 15 to 20 years, you can experience significant life-changing situations such as moving, getting married, getting divorced. All these could alter your processing time, and further process may be needed, or something may be needed. You may need to update your application with USCIS, so make sure you inform that to your attorney immediately. And last but not the least, make sure you have a competent immigration attorney. While this video helps you get an overall view, a bird's eye view, but you still need an immigration attorney who can assess your specific eligibility, potential challenges, and guide you through the entire filing process, let you know if there's any inadmissibility issues that might come up and if there are any waivers to that inadmissibility, etc., etc. So, as I was saying before, sponsoring a sibling is a long process. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, but with diligent preparation and a clear understanding of the process and proper legal guidance, you can be successful in this endeavor. And that's all for this episode of Immigration Fridays. I hope this deep dive into sibling sponsorship has clarified many of your questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again next week. Thank you.